The Stoic Path to Inner Peace, Navigating Conflicts with Grace and Wisdom. In the relentless currents of modern life, we often find ourselves tossed about by personal conflicts, desperately seeking a harbor of inner calm, a compass of control, and the unwavering light of wisdom. We yearn for a way to navigate these turbulent waters, not simply to survive, but to thrive, to emerge stronger and more centered. This journey of exploration leads us to the Stoic tradition, a philosophy that has resonated through centuries, offering profound insights into managing emotions, embracing life's uncertainties, and confronting conflicts with grace and honor. Stoicism isn't about winning every battle or avoiding hardship altogether, it's about cultivating an inner resilience that allows us to face any storm with equanimity, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. It's about understanding that true strength lies not in physical prowess or external power, but in the unwavering fortress of our character. This approach is particularly relevant in today's hyperconnected and often divisive world, where personal conflicts can arise from various sources, including online interactions, professional disagreements, and even within our own families. By adopting Stoic principles, we can learn to detach ourselves from the emotional roller coaster of daily life and cultivate a more rational and balanced perspective. This, in turn, allows us to respond to conflicts with thoughtfulness and empathy, rather than reactive anger or resentment. Furthermore, the Stoic emphasis on personal responsibility and self-improvement empowers us to take control of our own lives and avoid becoming victims of circumstance. We learn to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, and to accept what we cannot. This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating, allowing us to let go of unnecessary stress and anxiety and to live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Moreover, the Stoic focus on virtue and ethical conduct provides a solid foundation for building strong and lasting relationships. By striving to be honest, fair, and compassionate in our interactions with others, we can foster trust and mutual respect, even in the midst of conflict. This is not to say that Stoicism offers a magic bullet for resolving all personal conflicts. But it does provide a powerful set of tools and principles that can help us navigate these challenges with greater wisdom, resilience, and grace. In essence, Stoicism is a path to inner peace and self-mastery, a way of life that enables us to live more fully and authentically, regardless of the circumstances we face. And in a world that is constantly changing and often unpredictable, the Stoic principles of acceptance, self-control, and virtue remain as relevant and valuable as ever. Therefore, as we embark on this exploration of Stoic principles, let us keep in mind that the ultimate goal is not simply to win every conflict, but to become the best versions of ourselves. Amidst the challenges of our modern world, we often find ourselves entangled in personal conflicts, searching for a path that leads to inner calm, control, and wisdom. Today we embark on a journey of exploration, seeking insights from the Stoic tradition to navigate these turbulent waters. Our focus is not merely on triumph or defeat. Instead, we delve into Stoicism, a philosophy that encourages us to embrace life's uncertainties, manage our emotions, and confront conflicts with grace and honor, because at the heart of any storm is the Stoic approach isn't about some abstract, unattainable ideal, it's a practical philosophy designed to be lived and breathed in the everyday. It's about building an inner citadel that remains unshaken, even when the world around us is in chaos. Imagine a ship caught in a storm. The Stoic doesn't try to stop the storm, that's beyond their control. Instead, they focus on securing the ship, adjusting the sails, and navigating through the waves with skill and resilience. This is the essence of the Stoic approach to personal conflicts, to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, and to accept what we cannot. It's a philosophy that empowers us to take responsibility for our own well-being and to find meaning and purpose in the face of adversity. Stoic who remain steadfast not due to physical strength but through the strength of their character. Think of Marcus Aurelius, a leader who faced formidable adversaries on the battlefield, yet his most profound struggle was an internal one, a battle of character and self-improvement, because for him and for all Stoics the real conflict is not about defeating others but about being the best version of oneself. In this video, we will dive into 7 Stoic principles to face any personal conflicts and win always. Number Consider the example of Nelson Mandela. Imprisoned for decades, facing immense injustice, he could have succumbed to bitterness and resentment. Instead, he chose the path of forgiveness and reconciliation, transforming his own suffering into a force for positive change. His unwavering commitment to his principles, his ability to control his emotions, and his willingness to forgive his enemies are all hallmarks of Stoic virtue. Mandela's example demonstrates that even in the most extreme circumstances, it is possible to maintain inner peace and to act with integrity and compassion. Similarly, Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, found meaning in his suffering by focusing on what he could control, his attitude and his response to the horrific conditions around him. Frankl's experience highlights the power of the human spirit to transcend even the most unimaginable adversity. He realized that even when stripped of everything else, we still have the freedom to choose our own thoughts and to find meaning in our lives. This is the core message of Stoicism, that true freedom lies not in external circumstances, but in the inner realm of our thoughts and beliefs. One worry less about the opinions of others. Nothing is good or bad, it's only neutral. In Stoic thought this applies to the opinions of third parties. They are just that, opinions, and you don't have to be passionate about them even if they refer to you. Marcus Aurelius said, "Remember that all you hear is an opinion, not a fact. All you see is a perspective, not the truth." If you are distressed by something external, it's not the event itself that causes the pain, but the meaning you attach to it. You have the power to change it at any. This first principle can be particularly challenging in today's social media-driven world, where we are constantly bombarded with opinions and judgments. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of validation and to become overly concerned with what others think of us. However, Stoicism reminds us that external validation is fleeting and ultimately meaningless. True self-worth comes from within, from aligning our actions with our values and living a life of integrity. Instead of seeking approval from others, we should focus on cultivating our own character and striving to become the best versions of ourselves. Imagine a painter who is constantly worried about what art critics will say about their work. They may become paralyzed by fear and unable to express their true creativity. However, a Stoic painter would focus on the process of creation itself, on honing their skills and expressing their unique vision, regardless of external opinions. This doesn't mean that they would ignore all feedback, but they would filter it through a lens of objectivity, accepting what is helpful and discarding what is not. Ultimately, they would be driven by their own internal compass, rather than the whims of popular opinion. This same principle can be applied to any area of life, from our careers to our relationships. By detaching ourselves from the opinions of others, we can free ourselves from the shackles of self-doubt and live more authentically and confidently. You have power over your mind, not events. Realize this and you will find the strength and equanimity that comes from thinking this way, placing a Stoic miles ahead of an opponent who is overly critical or emotional. If people's opinions don't evoke emotions in you, you will maintain a serene attitude that will leave you unharmed by any conflict. Number 2, don't take things personally. Marcus Aurelius said you don't have to turn this into something it doesn't have to upset you. Things can't shape our decisions by themselves. The ability to maintain emotional detachment in the face of criticism is a superpower in itself. When someone attacks us verbally or online, our natural instinct is to defend ourselves, to argue back, or to retaliate. However, this only escalates the conflict and allows the other person to control our emotions. A Stoic, on the other hand, would recognize that the other person's words are simply opinions, and that they have no power to harm us unless we allow them to. They would remain calm and composed, refusing to be drawn into a pointless argument. This doesn't mean that they would condone the other person's behavior, but they would choose to respond with reason and empathy, rather than anger and defensiveness. This approach is often disarming to the other person, who may be expecting a fiery reaction. By refusing to engage in their negativity, we take away their power and maintain our own inner peace. Moreover, by responding with kindness and understanding, we may even be able to de-escalate the situation and find common ground. This Stoic rule implies passivity, but it doesn't mean that Stoics simply accept everything in life. They simply understood how absurd the need for revenge is. When someone hurts you, it's better to take the opposite path. As Seneca wrote, one would think it's normal to kick back at a mule or bite a dog when they hurt us. When someone insults a Stoic, he pretends not to hear it. When someone says something offensive to a Stoic, he tells himself that if he gets angry he is as guilty as they are. That's what you should remind yourself. Seneca's analogy of not kicking back at a mule or biting a dog highlights the absurdity of seeking revenge. When someone hurts us, our first impulse may be to retaliate, to inflict pain in return. However, this only perpetuates the cycle of violence and leaves us feeling empty and unfulfilled. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in forgiveness and compassion, not in revenge. Forgiveness is not about condoning the other person's actions, but about releasing ourselves from the burden of anger and resentment. It's about recognizing that holding on to grudges only harms ourselves, and that letting go is the only way to move forward. Imagine a person who has been deeply wronged by someone they love. They may feel consumed by anger and bitterness, constantly replaying the events in their mind and plotting revenge. However, this only prolongs their suffering and prevents them from healing. A Stoic, on the other hand, would recognize that holding on to these negative emotions is harmful to themselves, and that forgiveness is the only way to find peace. They would choose to forgive the other person, not necessarily for their sake, but for their own. This doesn't mean that they would forget what happened, but they would release themselves from the emotional baggage and move on with their lives. Before taking something personally, you don't have to have an opinion about others' opinions, even if they're about you. Not making insignificant things into big things will save you a lot of time and unnecessary conflicts. Number 3. Be patient. Think for a moment about ancient Stoic thinkers who had to deal with difficult situations. Seneca was the advisor to the insane Emperor Nero, and Marcus Aurelius was the first Roman emperor, who had to face the barbarians in a long and fierce campaign on the frontiers. Both had it very tough. Patience, the third Stoic principle, is a virtue often overlooked in our fast-paced, instant gratification society. We live in a world where we expect immediate results and are easily frustrated when things don't go our way. However, Stoicism reminds us that patience is essential for navigating personal conflicts and achieving long-term goals. It's about understanding that progress takes time and effort, and that setbacks are inevitable. It's about maintaining a calm and steady demeanor, even when faced with adversity. Seneca's role as advisor to the notoriously erratic Emperor Nero is a testament to the power of patience. Imagine trying to reason with someone who is impulsive, unpredictable, and prone to fits of rage. Seneca must have exercised incredible patience and self-control in order to maintain his position and to influence Nero's decisions. Similarly, Marcus Aurelius's experience leading the Roman army in a long and arduous campaign against the barbarians required immense patience. He had to deal with logistical challenges, political intrigue, and the constant threat of enemy attack. Yet, he remained calm and focused, leading his troops with wisdom and courage. These examples demonstrate that patience is not simply a passive virtue, but an active one that requires strength, discipline, and a deep understanding of human nature. In our own lives, we can cultivate patience by practicing mindfulness, by focusing on the present moment, and by accepting that things may not always go according to plan. But they left us advice letters and consolations to learn how to remain serene in difficult times. Their teachings lead to serenity or ataraxia, a kind of mental serenity that prevents negative emotions from taking control, making it easier to act with virtue. According to the Stoics, it's precisely emotional reactions to negative situations that distort our perception of reality. Thoughts get confused with facts. Number 4. Be an example. Many times a conflict with others starts because we want them to act according to ataraxia, or serenity, is the ultimate goal of the Stoic practice. It's a state of inner peace and tranquility that is not dependent on external circumstances. It's about cultivating a mindset that is resilient to stress, anxiety, and negative emotions. Achieving ataraxia requires a conscious effort to control our thoughts and reactions, to accept what we cannot change, and to focus on what we can. It's about developing a sense of perspective and recognizing that most of the things that worry us are ultimately insignificant. The Stoics believe that negative emotions arise from faulty judgments and irrational beliefs. When we are able to challenge these beliefs and replace them with more rational ones, we can begin to experience a sense of serenity. For example, if we believe that we need to be perfect in order to be worthy of love and acceptance, we will constantly be plagued by anxiety and self-doubt. However, if we can challenge this belief and recognize that we are worthy of love and acceptance, regardless of our imperfections, we can begin to experience a sense of peace. Cultivating ataraxia is a lifelong process, but it is a worthwhile endeavor that can lead to greater happiness, fulfillment, and resilience in the face of adversity. It's about learning to accept ourselves, to accept the world as it is, and to find joy in the simple things. Our principles. This is a contradiction for Stoics. First, because accepting the nature of things without trying to change them is their fundamental principle. Second, because Stoics believe that we can only influence thoughts, attitudes and behaviors through our example. It's no coincidence that Marcus Aurelius stated, "Don't waste time arguing what a good man should be." B1 Number 5. Ignore the haters. Stoic does two things. When encountering hatred or a bad opinion from others, they ask themselves, is this opinion within my? Leading by example, the fourth Stoic principle, is a powerful way to influence others and resolve conflicts. Instead of trying to force our opinions on others, we should strive to embody the virtues that we admire and let our actions speak for themselves. This approach is more effective than lecturing or arguing, as it allows others to see the benefits of Stoicism firsthand. Marcus Aurelius's famous quote, "Don't waste time arguing what a good man should be." B1 encapsulates this principle perfectly. It's a reminder that true influence comes not from words, but from actions. Imagine a parent who constantly tells their children to be honest and respectful, but who themselves engages in dishonesty and disrespect. Their words will have little impact on their children, as their actions contradict their message. However, a parent who consistently demonstrates honesty and respect in their own lives will have a much greater influence on their children. Similarly, a leader who leads by example, who embodies the values that they espouse, will inspire their followers to do the same. Leading by example is not always easy, as it requires a conscious effort to align our actions with our values. But it is a powerful way to create positive change in the world and to resolve conflicts with grace and integrity. It's about becoming the change that we want to see in the world, and trusting that our actions will inspire others to do the same. Control. If there is a possibility of influencing or changing that person's opinion through conversation, actions, or more context and explanation, they seize it, but if not, they accept that this person is as they are. Hatred never comes from outside, it's within the one who practices it. If you are truly unhappy with yourself and lack confidence, you will hate those who live a virtuous life. Envy is a major contributing factor, because when someone is so viscerally angry at others and is so upset, I tease because there's a force that drives them. Ignoring the haters, the fifth Stoic principle, is essential for maintaining inner peace and focusing on our own goals. Haters are those who express negativity, criticism, and even hatred towards us, often for no apparent reason. Engaging with them only wastes our time and energy, and can even damage our self-esteem. Stoicism teaches us to recognize that haters are often projecting their own insecurities and unhappiness onto us. Their negativity is not a reflection of our worth, but a reflection of their own inner turmoil. Marcus Aurelius's description of such individuals is particularly insightful. He recognizes that they are acting out of ignorance, unable to distinguish between good and evil. He also acknowledges that they are fundamentally related to him, sharing the same human nature. This understanding allows him to approach them with compassion and tolerance, rather than anger and resentment. However, this doesn't mean that we should allow haters to abuse or mistreat us. We should set boundaries and protect ourselves from their negativity. But we should do so with a calm and rational demeanor, rather than allowing ourselves to be drawn into their drama. Ultimately, the best way to deal with haters is to ignore them and focus on living a virtuous and fulfilling life. This is the most effective form of revenge, as it demonstrates that their negativity has no power over us. It's envy, otherwise they would be fine with whatever. Why would they care about what you do or say? They attack with hatred because they are unhappy, and when you are truly unhappy you want to spread it. Misery loves company. Hurt people hurt others. It's absolutely true how hurt someone must be to inflict hatred on another. Marcus Aurelius described them clearly. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good. Misery loves company, as the saying goes, and this is often the driving force behind hatred and negativity. People who are unhappy with themselves often seek to bring others down to their level, in an attempt to validate their own suffering. This understanding can help us to approach haters with compassion and empathy, recognizing that their behavior is a symptom of their own inner pain. However, it's important to distinguish between empathy and enabling. While we can feel compassion for haters, we should not allow them to abuse or mistreat us. We should set boundaries and protect ourselves from their negativity. Marcus Aurelius's practice of anticipating the negative behavior of others is a valuable tool for managing our expectations and preparing ourselves to respond with equanimity. By reminding ourselves that we will likely encounter meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly individuals, we can avoid being surprised or upset by their behavior. This allows us to maintain our composure and respond with wisdom and grace. It's like preparing for a storm before it hits. We know that it's coming, so we can take the necessary precautions to protect ourselves and our property. Similarly, by preparing ourselves for the negativity of others, we can protect our inner peace and maintain our focus on our own goals. From evil, but I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. None of them can harm me. No one can implicate me in ugliness, nor can I feel angry at my relative or hate him. We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the two rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him. The understanding that even wrongdoers share a common human nature, share of the divine, is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It allows us to approach even the most difficult individuals with compassion and empathy, recognizing that they are ultimately struggling with the same challenges and imperfections as ourselves. This doesn't mean that we condone their behavior, but it does mean that we can avoid being consumed by anger and resentment. Marcus Aurelius's analogy of the human body, with its various parts working together in harmony, highlights the interconnectedness of all beings. Just as it is unnatural for the feet to obstruct the hands, or for the upper teeth to fight against the lower teeth, it is unnatural for us to feel anger or hatred towards others. We are all part of the same human family, and we are meant to work together, not against each other. This understanding can help us to resolve conflicts with greater wisdom and grace, by focusing on finding common ground and building bridges of understanding. It's about recognizing that even our enemies are ultimately our brothers and sisters, and that we all have a role to play in creating a more harmonious and just world. Our obstructions. Number 6. Avoid anger. Stoicism agrees that although showing anger may be a natural behavior, it doesn't make it good or desirable. Marcus Aurelius observed in his Meditations how much more harm is caused by anger and rage over actions that others do than the actions themselves that provoke our anger. Raising your voice and complaining loudly may make you feel good for a few seconds, but does it solve the problem? Never argue with a rude person. It only gives them a new opportunity to show their rudeness. Avoiding anger, the sixth Stoic principle, is crucial for maintaining clarity of mind and making rational decisions. While anger may be a natural emotion, Stoicism teaches us that it is rarely productive and often leads to harmful consequences. Marcus Aurelius's observation that anger and rage often cause more harm than the actions that provoke them is a profound insight. When we are angry, we are more likely to say and do things that we later regret, damaging our relationships and undermining our goals. Moreover, anger clouds our judgment and prevents us from seeing situations clearly. It's like looking through a distorted lens, which makes it difficult to make wise and rational decisions. Stoicism teaches us to recognize the early signs of anger and to take steps to prevent it from escalating. This may involve taking a deep breath, counting to 10, or simply walking away from the situation. It also involves challenging the thoughts and beliefs that trigger our anger, and replacing them with more rational and compassionate ones. For example, if we are angry because someone has cut us off in traffic, we can remind ourselves that they may be having a bad day, or that they may not have seen us. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it allows us to respond with greater equanimity. Getting angry because your car doesn't work won't make it work. Number 7. Stop comparing yourself to others. Don't waste the rest of your life speculating about others unless you seek common good. Imagining what they are doing, why they are doing it, what they are thinking, and what they are planning can overwhelm you and divert you from your inner guide. When your thoughts focus on comparing yourself to others, think of the question that the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius asked: why do we give more weight to others' opinions than our own? Finally, the 7th Stoic principle, stop comparing yourself to others, is crucial for cultivating self-acceptance and focusing on our own personal growth. In today's social media-saturated world, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others, constantly measuring our success and happiness against theirs. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, envy, and dissatisfaction. Stoicism reminds us that each individual is unique, with their own strengths, weaknesses, and path in life. Comparing ourselves to others is not only pointless, but it can also be harmful to our self-esteem and our ability to achieve our own goals. Instead of focusing on what others are doing, we should focus on our own personal development, striving to become the best versions of ourselves. This involves setting realistic goals, working hard to achieve them, and celebrating our progress along the way. It also involves accepting our imperfections and recognizing that setbacks are a normal part of life. By focusing on our own journey, rather than comparing ourselves to others, we can cultivate greater self-acceptance, inner peace, and fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius's question, why do we give more weight to others' opinions than our own, is a powerful reminder to trust our own judgment and to follow our own inner guide. These thoughts from Marcus Aurelius encourage us to focus on our personal development and stop worrying about what others think or do. I look forward to your comments. If you found this useful, please leave a like to reach more people. With this philosophy, if you want to follow more content, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I hope this video has been as enriching for you as it has been for me. Here are 2 videos full of historical wisdom that I believe you will appreciate. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. The constant barrage of curated content on social media often presents a distorted view of reality, leading us to believe that others are living perfect lives while we are falling short. This is a dangerous illusion that can erode our self-esteem and prevent us from appreciating our own unique blessings and accomplishments. Stoicism teaches us to resist this temptation and to focus instead on cultivating gratitude for what we have. By appreciating the simple things in life, our health, our relationships, our talents, we can find greater happiness and fulfillment, regardless of our external circumstances. It's about recognizing that true wealth lies not in material possessions or external validation, but in the inner realm of our thoughts, feelings, and values. Ultimately, the Stoic path is a journey of self-discovery and self-mastery, a lifelong pursuit of wisdom, virtue, and inner peace. It's a philosophy that empowers us to navigate the challenges of life with greater resilience, grace, and integrity. And in a world that is constantly changing, often unpredictable, the Stoic principles of acceptance, self-control, and virtue remain as relevant and valuable as ever. In conclusion, the 7 Stoic principles we've explored offer a powerful framework for navigating personal conflicts and cultivating inner peace. By learning to worry less about the opinions of others, avoiding taking things personally, practicing patience, leading by example, ignoring the haters, avoiding anger, and ceasing to compare ourselves to others, we can build an inner resilience that allows us to face any challenge with equanimity and grace. These principles are not merely theoretical concepts, they are practical tools that can be applied to our daily lives, transforming our relationships, our careers, and our overall well-being. The Stoic path is not about avoiding conflict altogether, it's about developing the inner strength to confront it with wisdom, compassion, and integrity. It's about recognizing that true victory lies not in defeating others, but in overcoming our own negative emotions and striving to become the best versions of ourselves. Furthermore, it's important to remember that Stoicism is not a quick fix or a magic bullet. It's a lifelong practice that requires dedication, self-awareness, and a willingness to challenge our own beliefs and behaviors. There will be times when we stumble and fall, when we succumb to anger, fear, or envy. But the key is to learn from our mistakes, to forgive ourselves, and to keep moving forward on the path of virtue. As we continue on this journey, let us remember the wisdom of the ancient Stoics, who faced immense challenges and adversity with unwavering courage and resilience. Let us draw inspiration from their example and strive to embody the Stoic virtues in our own lives, becoming beacons of light in a world that is often dark and uncertain. And finally, let us remember that the pursuit of inner peace is not a selfish endeavor. By cultivating our own well-being, we are better able to contribute to the well-being of others, creating a ripple effect of positivity and compassion that extends throughout our communities and beyond. So, let us embrace the Stoic path, not as a means to an end, but as a way of life, a journey of self-discovery and transformation that leads to greater happiness, fulfillment, and inner peace. The core takeaways from this exploration are the importance of focusing on what we can control, accepting what we cannot, and striving to live a virtuous life. By internalizing these principles, we can navigate the inevitable conflicts of life with greater wisdom and grace, and ultimately, achieve a state of lasting inner peace. Remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. Embrace the Stoic path, and unlock your full potential for happiness, fulfillment, and inner peace.